Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher. It is about us, the authors.
Hi, my name is Lynda Daniele, and I am the author of these two little books, Grandpa Nick's Bump, which is about my husband who had a very large bump, a very large tumor, meningioma. And it's about the four little children who came across the street one day, and they asked him to be their grandfather when they realized that they didn't have a grandfather. And he said, of course, I'll be your grandfather. And unfortunately, about 4 months or so later, he passed away. So it's that story of going from having a grandfather for the four little children and, having fun and having Grandpa Nick be silly. And then he passes away. And then there's a whole heaven scenario there as well that the children actually help to draw and stuff. So that is Grandpa Nick's Bump. So it's not a typical children's book. This is the second little book that I did, and it's Grandpa Nick the Conductor. And I love the caricature. This is what the real Grandpa Nick looked like. Okay, so he had that big smile that everybody loves. But Grandpa Nick's the Conductor, he was a conductor at a local trolley museum in my area, and he and my son actually volunteered there for a long time, and we were part of like a club. And so that's a story about finding a little cat in the trolley barn and trying to find owners that would take her kittens as well. So, it's a sweet little story. Some of this is true, some of it's not. Some of it's just made up. And then Grandpa Nick's Bump is all of Grandpa Nick's Bump is true. So those are my two little books that I have. Over the last few nights, I have talked extensively on both of those books. And tonight, what I thought I would do is to do something maybe a little bit different. I don't know if you notice, if you've been following along, but I've kind of changed my area of where I'm broadcasting, and there's a reason for that. But before I get into that, I want to thank Reader's Magnet for this platform. Otherwise, the authors don't really have that much of a platform. They are really wonderful at being able to help us get our stories out there. And all of the authors, I'm sure, appreciate this platform. And I think it's like one of a kind. So I know it started during the pandemic, and I'm glad that they have kept it up as well, that they haven't stopped doing this. Also, If you have any questions or comments, please type it in the chat. And I thought it would be kind of cool to find out where you're from. So we've had people from Mexico and New York City. I'm broadcasting from Massachusetts. We've had Virginia, Kentucky, and places in the middle of the country as well. So if you would like to tell us where you're from, that would be really awesome. So please have any questions or comments, whatever, that you would like to type in. And that would be really good. I want to tell up front that from Tuesday to Thursday, I will be here from 7 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Friday, it's a little bit different. It's from 6 to 6:30 p.m. And that will be my last broadcast. But the festival is going through next weekend as well. I'm not broadcasting there. So tonight, what I thought I would do is, I haven't done this before, so we'll find out if folks like it or not. But I've been venturing off into a little bit of poetry. I've written poetry for years, but I haven't ventured off. My family and some of my friends, they know about my poetry, but not too many people past that know about it. And the reason that I changed my location in my house is because of this hutch. Because the name of the poem I'm gonna read that I wrote is called The Hutch. And this is over 100 years old, and it was given to me by my great aunt, and everything in here somebody gave me. And so I might look like this beautiful statue of Blessed Mother and baby Jesus. My mom gave me that. This was one of my neighbors gave me the little dog. I have Joseph and Mary, and then my son loves the Eagles. And this is my brother and I when we were little. There's all sorts of things in here. Up on top of the hutch are the two flags, my husband's service flag and my dad's service flag. And my son has my father-in-law's service flag as well. So there's a lot of memories tucked away into this hutch. So that's the poem I'm going to read to you. And I hope you like it. Let me know if you like it. If you think it's something I should pursue, or should I keep doing the children's books? Let me know. Okay, so it's called The Hutch. The key was missing, and I looked everywhere for it. It wasn't under the couch or by the stained glass lamp in the old ashtray. All the knickknacks were locked safely inside the clawfoot hutch. Treasures from relatives and friends past. Curved glass on both ends with beautiful oak wood and 100-year-old varnish that smelled like an ancient library. Looking through the reflection of white curtains through its glass, I see great-grandma's hand-painted ceramic plates and teacups, where many tea leaves were read and futures discussed, not read by gypsies and babushkas, but by English elites at social gatherings, after parlor concerts, on velvet-covered upright pianos, cigars smoldering, and sheet music penciled in with chord changes. There were dark red oriental rugs and tapestry room dividers. What memories this hutch contains. Gifts from aunts and uncles with Christmas ornaments and children's first-grade artwork. Model airplanes and forgotten war medals with obituary cards. Stuffed in the hutch corner were tiny hand-blown seahorses and pink swans left over from exhibitions past. Memories of Cape Cod band concerts in Chatham with balloons and trumpet players in uniform. The key was found safely tucked in couch cushions. Its brass reminds me of mass bells at the cathedral or ship bells on some grand ocean liner. I opened the hutch to the smell of varnish like the pews of an old church. Buried behind many old trinkets were crystal goblets from my wedding and the Bible I carried and a white handkerchief with embroidered lavender on it. Thinking about all these memories was like a toast raised for a well-lived life, filled with joys and sorrows, friends and family. In opening the hutch door, I entered a world of dreams and possibilities, some yet to be attained. C'est la vie. So that's the story of the hutch. Joanne, hi Lynda, happy to see you here. I'm happy to see you here too. I'm glad that you're listening. So the story of the hutch, Beverly says, such beautiful books you have there, Lynda. Thank you. I really love writing. I really do love writing. And part of this, the hutch story, like when it says, to me, it is, it's painting with words. It's painting with words. Reginald says, oh, I love poems. Let's hear it. Okay. I have two more for you as well. But in here, it talks about ceramic plates and teacups where tea leaves were read. My great-grandmother read tea leaves, and nobody was allowed to finish their tea because nobody wanted her reading the tea leaves, because a lot of different things happened. And some people might say that's crazy, but some crazy things happened with the reading of the tea leaves. And the other little part of this, which is kind of cute now, but it talks about the parlor with cigars smoldering. When I was a little girl, my nanny, my Italian grandmother, she had a 3-story house, and on the first floor was a kitchen, a dining room, and a parlor. And the parlor had, a piano, and that's where the TV was, the old black and white, big, huge thing. And my job was to go around after the meal. You'll laugh. After the meal, to go around, and my uncles, my great uncles, my uncles, they would be sitting around watching a football game, and they'd fall asleep because they just had the soup to nuts, huge meal. They would fall asleep, and my job was to take the spittoon, and Nani would say, go get the cigars before they burn the house down. And I would take the cigars out of their mouth and put them in the spittoon. And when I was 6 or 7 years old, that was my job on Sundays. We went to Nani's every Sunday for dinner. Joanne says, I'm a big fan of poetry. Read to us the poem, please. Okay, so I did this one, and it talks about the varnish, and the key was found safely. And the brass of the tea reminded me of mass bells at cathedral or ship bells on some grand ocean liner. The varnish in here is over 100 years old. And when you open the door, it does smell like church pews. Elton says, that was such a nice poem. Have you ever considered sharing it to websites like allpoetry.com? I have not considered that yet, because this is the first time I ever did this. I do have a lot of poems that I've worked on over the years, like for myself and my family and friends. I've given them away like for presents and that kind of thing. But this is the first time that I'm getting them out there. So Elton, that was a good suggestion. Good suggestion for sure. So that is the hutch. All right, which is all about this. And that's why I decided to broadcast from this, so that you could see what the hutch looked like. The next one is called Tableaus and Light. And this came about because we were doing a Way of the Cross play at our church, and the children did not want to talk. They didn't want to have lines. They were afraid to talk in front of a lot of people. So we came up with a screen that made shadows of the children. And we had a narrator so that they didn't have to, the children didn't have to talk, but they just freeze framed for the Stations of the Cross, the Way of the Cross. And it really was beautiful. Well, with that in mind, the other part of this is A friend of mine had a mirror, an old Italian mirror that went from generation to generation in their family. And this is about the light flickering and through shadows and tableaus, and also in light. And so hopefully you'll like this one too. And it's about a real mirror that this friend of mine had. Beverly says you should definitely save that poem and read it in open mics or post it somewhere. That was very well written. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll see how that goes. That's a good idea though. Thank you. So tableaus and light. Have you ever noticed how the 3 o'clock p.m. light plays with that old mirror in the hallway? As the sun passes through the window, there are tableaus, shadows of leaves flitting in that mirror that give way to blinding light that only lasts a few minutes. That old Italian mirror, oddly shaped, holds generations of tears, frowns, and smiles. From 6-year-olds climbing up on a chair to see their lost teeth and practice their smiles preparing for fame and fortune, to great-great-grandfathers whistling each morning and shaving with his straight-edged razor and brush. Great-grandmother straightening her best Sunday hat, and her son, much later, making sure his bolo with the horse on it was tied right, and that his handkerchief was pressed properly to fit in his breast pocket. You never know when a young lady will need to be given that folded piece of cloth for damsel tears. Trapped faces, visions of time, captured in a glimpse, a glint, grasped in a glance. Once, only once, I believe I saw them all in an instant, my family, peering back at me. I noticed. So that's tableaus and light. And you know how when you're looking at a mirror and the sunlight goes in the mirror and it's blinding light, and then a couple minutes later it's gone. Those are the fleeting moments that I think poets can capture. I think that does happen. Joanne, have you ever thought about doing some sort of like poetry illustration combination? I think that'd be pretty awesome. I had not thought of that. That is a good idea. That's wonderful. Like I say, this is the first time that I've done it, and it's the first time that I've, let this idea out of my circle of friends and family. One of the things too is that I come from a tradition of people who did public speaking. My great grandmother was a suffragette, and she went around the country touring, and she would teach people how to do public speaking. And my grandmother would, that would be her daughter-in-law, my great grandmother's daughter-in-law, not daughter, but she would go to the hospital during World War II, and she would read to the soldiers. And I think people have forgotten to do that. We're so busy all the time. We don't do the simple things. And so the soldiers never wanted her to leave because she read so beautifully. And it was like, what's the next page? What else is going to happen? You can't leave yet. So, and my great-great-grandmother was an elocution teacher. Do you remember what that is? Elocution is the art of public speaking, not electrocution, elocution. And she was really wonderful at that. So hopefully some of that has gotten down to me. So that was tableaus and light. This other one is a little bit different. This is a personal poem. And I had gone to the beach, and I had I went with some very, very dear friends. And I was sitting writing, and I was looking at the ocean, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful summer day. And these things just kind of hit me while I was sitting and looking at the ocean. The beach is one of my very favorite places to go. It's called Moment. Friendship is like a strong hug in a sea of glimmers. I have no desire to leave an embrace that is true and genuine. A hello amid a pandemic of fear and authority. My only authority is to God, and to keep my own integrity by praising his holy name. Praise itself is a mystery to me. For so long, I forgot what praise is. I still don't understand its necessity. I live moment to moment because it's where I am. Ever-changing moments create a symphony of peace for me, a life where God is complicit in my marrow. Can I say God is my friend, or is it blasphemous to lower him to me? I think not, for he desires to lower himself. Strong arms, beating pulse, an ocean tide to lift me and take me to himself. Like a child on a father's shoulders, safe, secure, and content, I cover his eyes, playing peekaboo. Should I be so familiar with an all-knowing God? Is it possible to say, Our Father, and really believe it? If so, I am always protected and any fear melts away. I never understood the role of a father until my hair turned gray. A mother to a child seems obvious. Tenderness, nourishment, and joy. Yet a father's strength lies in his arms to stand off evil and cradle his children and their mother. Of late, I think about these things as I float out to sea. O Father, cradle my heart in your arms as I learn to praise you more. My dear Father, rest me, that I may know the joy of your home. So that's just something that I wrote, and it's just called Moment. And that's how I was feeling for that moment. You know, it might change, but that's how I felt for that moment. Reginald, I can relate to that. There are times when I just visit the seaside to listen to the waves crash. I find it calming. Yes, I feel that way too. And the friends that I was traveling with, they felt the same way. You know, there's something about the ocean that is that's primeval. You know, Victoria says, practice their smiles preparing for fame and fortune. I don't know why, but that line hits very hard. I remember doing that when I was little. When I was little, I wanted to be Julie Andrews and sing in The Sound of Music. And I'm a lay sister. I'm not a nun, but I am a lay sister of the Order of Preachers of a Dominican order. And I think I wanted to be a nun at that time when I was little, so I could just sing in the woods. It had nothing to do with being a nun or anything like that. I just wanted to play Julie. I just wanted to be Julie Andrews, not necessarily a nun. But if you have any other comments or anything in the chat or where you're from, that would be really good. And then here, if you're interested in ordering my 2 little books, let's see here if I can get them. Grandpa Nick the Conductor and Grandpa Nick's, this one I'm backwards. Grandpa Nick's Bump. You can order it all on readersmagnet.com. And this is my website, which is also below in the scroll underneath this presentation. But readersmagnet.com. They're very good, and you'll get it in quick order. It's a wonderful company to be working for and working with, I should say. I'm trying to think. Let's go back to the hutch for a minute. And so I told you about the story of the cigars and having to take the cigars out of my uncle's mouths before they fell asleep so they wouldn't burn the house down. And I told you about the tea leaves. And this part here, in Cape Cod, I don't know if they still have it in Chatham, but when I was little, they used to have a band concert every Friday night, Friday or Saturday. And we used to go all the time. And the memories of Cape Cod band concerts in Chatham with balloons and trumpet players in uniform. I was thinking also that, like in an orchestra, the wind section, and the trumpets and the French horns, that is used. You play those instruments by using somebody's breath. Well, when you're a writer, the words are your breath. When you're a painter, the painter would be your supplies would be your pencil or your charcoal or your paintbrush. That's your breath. Well, those are the things that I think are really, really important. I was a music major in college, and because I had been sick for a while, I'm really not able to sing that much anymore. But I think the poetry, the rhythm, the poetry, that breath of an artist is very, very, very important. And that's, living in the moment. That's what I think we all need to do. So if you have anything, any chat or anything that you would like to let me know, or even like where you're from. I can also let me see if I could do another little poem here, because I think we have a couple minutes left. Let me see here. Oh, this is a little bit different. It's called Stand. And sometimes we have to stand up for things. Sometimes we can't just let things ride. Sometimes we need to change, and we need to stand up for the right things, especially when we know that that wrong is going on. Hey, Lynda, I was just curious, what's your fondest memory of Grandpa Nick? Oh my goodness. Beverly, that's a really good question. Well, his smile. He had a beaming smile and a big personality. He really did. And he was incredibly intelligent. If you saw last night's broadcast or last Friday's broadcast with my son, he said that as well. He was very, very intelligent, but he also helped everybody. There were many times when he had such a giving heart, and if anybody needed him for anything, he was right there. He was like a rock with that kind of thing. So that was a really good question. Thank you. Thank you for that. So we have a couple minutes left. I can't believe how fast these broadcasts go. So this is called Stand. And again, this was during the pandemic. A lot of my writing, I did a lot during the pandemic because I couldn't go anywhere like everybody else in the world. So, okay, I hope you like this. Sooner or later, one has to decide to stand up to truth with love at your side. Truth can be countered with popular themes, but wisdom and knowledge will eventually intercede. With a racing heart and shaky knees, we stand up to factions that blame and believe that everyone is the same. With gains and losses in the war of truth, the skirmishes take odd twists and dig up old roots. Roots of the past and desire for the future, prayers for the weary and strength for the warrior. With sweaty palms and blurred sight, garnered the faculties to discern the plight. Out of a fallen tree, its stump grows shoots. Solid foundations take the weight of a roof. Building a home of love sublime takes a spirit of honesty and a sprig of time. You have the answer, Lord, and the answer is thine. So I think that that's really all that I have for tonight, unless there's anything for in the chat. But also I wanted to let you know that tomorrow I may have a visitor. I will be here from 7 o'clock to 7:30 Tuesday through Thursday. And then on Friday, again, it will be from 6 to 6:30. And I hope to have a visitor that was one of the children from the Grandpa Nick's Bump book. And the kids they're grown up now. We're like surrogate grandparents, but they were really little. And now there's 2 that are in college and 2 that are in high school. So it's quite a while, this whole process of healing and writing and healing and writing and that kind of thing. It's a lot. So for right now, if there's anything else for chat, any comments, anything that you would like to add, that would be wonderful. But this was 3 poems tonight. And 1, 2, 3, 4 poems tonight. And I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know. Let me know if you think it's something that I should pursue, or if I should do the children's books, or let me know what you think. So I think I see we have 1 minute left. That's time to do some chat. If anybody has anything that they would like to comment on, because I think that's pretty much all I have. I hope you enjoyed the hutch. That's why I put the computer this way, so that you would be able to actually see what I was talking about. And everything in there is a memory. So it's really a special thing to me. And I could write probably a poem or a story about each one of these items, and talk about the people involved. So I'm getting a little note saying we're coming to an end. So I will see you tomorrow night from 7 to 7:30. And let me know. You can contact me on my website, which is on the scroll. And if you would like to order the books, again, it is readersmagnet.com. And I thank you for this platform, Readers Magnet, and I hope everybody has a good evening. And just take care, stay in the moment, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.